Welcome back to another episode of AFL Unpopular Opinions, and more importantly, another season. We are back for a fifth year, would you believe? We haven't been delisted just yet. Yeah, don't know how. Joining me, just like they did last year, Tom Rockliff. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks, Ryan. How are you?
Fantastic. Good to have you back on the show. And as always, Alastair Lynch.
Good to be back.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah, as I said, I was a bit surprised we're back, but we're back.
Yeah, I know.
Someone's listening.
Shocked us all. And of course, Ned's nuffy, Jack Lindley.
Yeah, good to be here, Ryan.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. This is a very polite introduction.
Yeah.
I'm not used to this. Boys, how was the off-season? Did we have a good break? Good spell?
Well, Rocky, you should give us an update. That's a serious injury.
Well, I had a bit of surgery in the off-season.
Walking wounded, you've come in.
Bit of a, I don't know if the cameras pick it up, but a bit of a slice there. So, not Tasmanian reflective, but I had a bit of vertebrae sitting on a nerve. So I had some nerve pain for months and went in, got a bit of surgery, had to go through, cut some bone out and put a little spacer in there. So light duty still for a few more months, but yeah, getting there.
Good.
Nah, but mate, I want to hear about yours. Yours was the off season of
touring the world.
Ryan, congratulations, you got married.
Yes, that's probably the best off-season.
Yeah, thank you, fellas. Thank you very much.
Before going to watch a footy game.
But any marriage advice to...
Yeah.
But
Well, he's asking, Lynchy's been sustainable for a long period.
Well, part of our holiday was the 30th wedding anniversary. So
Congratulations.
there you go.
get away, and it was actually great. Yeah, sort of just wandered. as
Holding hands, you could see Lynch out there.
Well, yeah, didn't hold hands a lot.
that's why he went over there to do it. He didn't want to get caught holding hands.
But we did walk a lot, and being the son of a publican, we found a fair few pubs.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a trap. You go for a 7 or 10 or 15k walk and go to a pub for lunch, and
Then you're not walking.
then you're sitting in front of the fire late afternoon, it's dark by 4:30, and think, oh, I better have another wine or something. So it was a nice break. A little bit of sport tucked in there. Sort of went and watched the rugby league game. You know, I'm a Sharkies man.
Oh, huge. We always talk about that.
Yeah, an English mate who lives here in Brisbane actually invited me to go watch Australia-England at Wembley. So that was a good experience. Snuck in to watch Liverpool-Forest at Anfield.
A rare loss for Liverpool at Anfield.
Oh, they were calling for heads. Heads.
What fan base would you relate the Liverpool faith, the Scousers, to
That's a
in
great
Aussie
question.
rules?
Well, it was a similar, ununderstandable version of English. Couldn't understand it. There was a couple of words I could understand. There was a couple of strong words I could understand. But the vibe was they didn't like the coach, so get rid of Slot. He just won him a championship.
Very fickle.
The bloke they pay $400,000 a week, get rid of him. He can't play. Salah.
Egyptian king.
Yeah, they wanted him out.
Yep, too old.
And the amusing part was and in the UK after day one of the first test, no one said too much to me, but every pom coming around at the pub was coming up to me. Hey, did you see the cricket? They're flying.
Wait for day two.
By day three, they were filthy. And the old mate in Anfield, he was slot sellers. He said, can't even watch the cricket because England are
Bit low over there, I'd say.
they were flat. So, but it was a good trip, very good trip.
And you did a bit of touring around a few facilities?
Yeah, had a look at Chelsea and Tottenham, and especially spent half a day at Tottenham, my son and I, and amazing. Like you got 24 immaculately presented pictures, cut twice a day to exactly 23 millimetres, which replicates their home ground. They've got indoor training facility. They've got a restaurant for the academy kids. They've got
McDonald's.
the big kitchen, and then you got your private first team restaurant where they go and get anything they want. There was a lodge. There's a lodge which sort of replicated, I've only seen, like a 6-star ski resort. Every first team player had their own room.
Used to.
Yeah.
Each,
You've been in a few of them, I would imagine.
No, I've seen. And each room had a £20,000 bed.
That's
which
pretty
was
heavy.
which is exactly the same as the bed they've got at home, to replicate when they come in and out for European trips. And I asked the footy manager, I said, how much does it cost you to run this joint? And he says, well, to us to run this, it's £500,000 a year.
Jeez.
So $1 billion Australian dollars to run it. And I said, how much you
million.
make out of that? And they said, well, no, that's break even.
Yeah.
Gone, my
Far
goodness.
out.
Like, it was just a different scale. But it was interesting having a look at their academy systems. And
Maybe they're sleeping too much in their expensive beds. The results aren't there for
Tottenham, especially.
well, the nice little coach's office that was there, well, that's gone.
Yeah.
Well, the office is there, the coach is just
They keep
gone.
changing the name plaque.
Thomas Frankie. got
Frank
the flick.
after Ange.
Yeah, I think Ange wants back in.
He was stiff on the Ange. Like, I mean, he got a
Ange was-
trophy, but then...
Yeah, we've got him.
A trophy. In
First
inverted
trophy in
commas.
40 years.
Yeah.
So,
But he
yeah.
did get him a trophy.
Yeah.
And they're no better than where they were
No.
at this time last year.
Arguably worse, yeah.
Yeah.
Tassie going to implement some of those rooms and stuff to get a few recruits?
Bunk beds.
We get the point what they're trying to do, but we probably can't replicate it. No. But it was amazing, incredible.
And what about you, Jack?
Well,
You're
you-
off season. Did you get a few matches or something?
Oh, I see where this is going. I think I might have a rebuttal for this.
Yeah,
one,
well,
but,
take it away.
Just been watching your socials recently, Rocky, and how's the business going? Because there's been some.
Hey, aren't we
good,
talking
little
about you?
social media.
No, he's shifting.
we're talking
I've
about
already,
you.
we've already been to my off season.
We'll have a crack at his socials with his business shortly.
Yeah.
But what about you?
Great deflect.
No, I had a good. I had a couple of weeks off over Christmas. Bummed around on the coast. Went camping in the New South Wales hinterland. It was beautiful. But yeah, a couple of matches.
You batted for 24 hours. How
here
was
we
that?
go.
Batted for 24
Did you
hours.
see this, Lynchy? Batted
No.
indoor, and the first day was about 39
Lynch,
degrees.
You've had some words about my batting technique in the past, but Rocky came down actually and
better.
bowled a few. So yeah, no, we did all right. I got out 2 times across 24 hours. Liam,
Fair effort too. Little round of applause for that. I think it's
cheers, boys.
strong.
Rich tried his best, but he didn't get me out, so that's good. Fogg's my partner, and he played some really nice strokes. Did get in his own head a little bit.
he's
got
not the
out
same man, is he?
22 times. But together we made almost 2,000 runs. So
Oh, that's
really
a
set the scene for the Ashes.
good
I think.
effort.
Yeah,
Good effort.
And there's a little YouTube doco which actually Rich put together. It's a 10-minute watch, so you could stay awake for 10 minutes
That'll
watching
be
that one.
good, actually. Watch that tonight
Yeah.
before bed.
Just
and just really...
tossing and turning. The Olympics is done.
If you
Oh,
need a
shit.
bit of inspiration, you want to improve your golf game, you just watch these two boys, the dedication they put into
So
towards it.
why'd you do that?
It came like Liam and I were travelling, we were on a work trip and we're at a bar and we're like,
You're 20 in.
yeah,
Or
we're 20 in.
for
Like,
a day.
what's a bit of content we can do? We can connect to the punters, and Liam's a very passionate cricketer, and we were talking about the downfall of Test match batting and how no one bats for time anymore, which was on display in the first few matches in the Ashes. So we're like, let's go out there. Like, do you think you can bat for 24 hours straight? So we looked up the world record for the longest Test partnership, which was 2 days by a Sri Lankan pair, Sangakkara and Jay Wardner, who batted. They put on like 650 runs over 2 days of Test cricket. So we thought, well, let's do 24 hours. We smashed their runs, but I think the run scoring was easy at times. But can say the body was crippled by the whole event.
If you watch the video, the rig is struggling by the end of it. And
Well, I'm not in the best nick to begin with, but
Did you go for like session times? Did you go for like 2 hours and have 40 minutes off? Or you
yeah,
just-
it was like a Test match. Apart from like obviously they get to go home, have a good night's sleep, come back the next day. We just
and
powered
have
through.
a
So we
drink.
had like every couple of hours we had the drinks break and then a lunch break and tea break, that sort of thing. We had a paramedic on site. It was full on, but survived that and it was good fun. And we're looking for a new challenge this year. So if you boys think of anything, we'll bring it to life.
All right. Was there a world record that you're outside?
Well,
Test
we didn't
matches,
want to
but-
get Guinness involved because
Yeah.
they charge about 12 grand just to come out.
really?
with,
Wow.
Oh, you've got that
certified a record.
Yeah.
So, but there is some
every
sort of world
episode, aren't you,
record.
Lynchy?
Yeah, exactly. We got Lynchy down there with a Guinness. But yeah, if you want to come down to the nets, we can have a hit soon.
Oh, yeah. All right. Rocky's crook, so we better not.
Okay.
Back to more important matters. Rocky's business.
Yes,
You've been setting social media alight, mate.
Yeah,
These
mate.
reels are all over my feed, and they're very, very good, very funny. It's obviously low budget a little bit, I imagine. Like you just,
Well,
I don't mean that in a mean way.
Yeah,
It's just,
it's a strategy.
it's a strategy.
Well, say poor me.
So I wrote some scripts thanks to a bit of AI help and sent them off to a few companies. And you're right, the budget. You know what? One company came back with a quote for 44 grand to make 12 30-second clips. I was blown away. So I ended up getting a young fella to give me a hand, and he put them together. Cost me a
D Lynch, was it that you?
cost me a phone.
You still
and
keep in
some
contact?
microphones.
Didn't think to just give Rich a call.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Rich is busy as it is. Like he had to do that for 24
behind the
hours.
bowling machine.
Spent a day doing it and produced some content, a bit of cut through just to show a bit of personality, let people know what I do now. And
Has it worked?
not
Not the personality part,
not the
the
personality part, but yeah, I mean, I think it's got some reasonable feedback and awareness about what I'm doing now.
But you haven't got a gig out
I've
of
got
it
a
yet.
couple of leads out of it. So
And for the viewers that don't know what you
Lynchy,
do, what do you
you're
do?
not on the socials, are you, mate?
No.
Well, we've teed up one of the videos here.
Looking for a broker who's motivated. Right repayments. Great service. Someone who listens. Looking for a legend who can fund me before the weekend.
Oh, look at
Funds tomorrow. No bullshit. Rockliff Finance. We swipe right faster than you do on a Saturday night. Stop swiping lenders. Get in contact with Tom today.
It's sharp, isn't it?
That's not bad.
I think it's very good.
some good transitions
Yeah.
there.
The
but
special effects are great.
really.
I know about that.
Have you created an actual Rockliff Finance Tinder profile?
No,
That's not a bad idea.
So the kid that put it together for me, he did all that. I thought it come up pretty well.
What are you paying him?
I just said a new phone, a new
Exposure.
iPhone, and
Experience.
some microphones. He wanted to do it for free.
Wow.
He was going to do it for free, and I said you can't do it for free. Like, and I thought they came up all right.
No, 100%.
So
Well
asset
done.
finance, effectively, Lynchy. Businesses out there that are looking for finance,
Love that.
trucks and.
What's your Instagram
rollers.
handle? We've got to give you a plug.
Tom.Rockliff90.
Get involved, listeners.
Yeah,
Give him a
so-
follow.
National presence, not just Queensland. All over the
Everywhere,
country.
yeah, all around Australia.
Will travel.
Yeah, all commercial finance, effectively. So it's good, going reasonably well. Get to hang out with you blokes once a week as
work.
well now.
Well
so
done.
Yeah.
Very
away
strong.
we go.
I love that.
Very strong.
Maybe we'll post it. We'll put one up each
A
week.
collab.
And, yeah.
Ned's collab.
We'll do a version for
it's
you.
it's a bit catch-22.
Might do better than our multis.
Like, gambling agency and finance, it doesn't really go hand in hand. It's sort
Got to
of
contradict that.
Especially when you're backing the Swans all year to win the
hang on a
premiership.
minute. The 50. I gave you 50
Yeah,
possessions
yeah.
at 9-1, which I see is 3-1 this year. On
You've had a good
futures
crack at
forecast.
that.
And then Jeremy Cameron for the Coleman at 12. you
Yeah.
know, so Brisbane for the flag in the preseason.
Yep.
You know.
All right, hey?
And Zach Bailey, I had Zach Bailey for the normie, and he would have had it if he had a kick straight.
Would have had it by half time.
Quarter time. What do you kick 5 points in the first quarter?
Let's keep talking footy because we've got to run through Origin on Saturday night. Overall, I thought it was pretty well done. Good to see the players having a crack. I don't know if that's the time of year I want it to be played going forward and whether or not I want that every single year. But I did find myself getting bored kind of halfway through. It was probably a little bit too long, but...
What, you cut the game, just played 2 quarters?
No, I still play 4 quarters, but just shorten them. I just thought it got a bit exhibition-y to me towards the end there.
Whereas guys are starting to get tight and nervous. They're starting to get them off and shut it down. I enjoyed it. And did you get a chance to play for Victoria?
No.
No. So I think this generation, the current generation and your generation, have missed that opportunity to play State of Origin football. And I'd imagine if late in your career you had the opportunity, you'd be jumping at it.
Yeah.
So I think that's good, that part of it. But if you look at the game, Western Australia versus Victoria, you know, well, you got basically 46 or 48 players there. Only 22 of them were in the All-Australian squad last year. So like half the All-Australian squad aren't eligible. There was a couple like Jeremy Cameron, but essentially half aren't eligible to play. So how do you actually do that? Because, I mean, I'd imagine Goulden and Heaney and, Tassie kids, McKercher would like to do that.
Yeah.
But realistically, you can't do... Well, you can't replicate the rugby league, which have the best players in the country are on the field at the same time in 2 teams.
Yeah.
In Australia, in AFL footy, you can't do East versus West because no one cares. And if you just do Western Australia and Victoria, you're missing out on too many players. So I think there's something periodically, not every year, but something you could do. And I'd probably even go, could you imagine Victoria, which is probably one of the best teams you'd ever seen on a park together, Victoria versus the rest at the MCG in front of 100,000. I reckon that could get some legs.
So you want it back in Melbourne? Because some people have said just keep it away from Melbourne.
But you couldn't have, if you're going Allies or the rest of Australia, it has to be in Melbourne.
Okay.
I would have thought.
Yep.
And that's probably where you'd get, and it's not so much you got the passion to play for the Allies. It's not so much that. It's about, I got the passion to beat Victoria.
Yeah.
Which is, such a good, talented side. I think that'd generate some interest. But if you did it every year, you rest assured some of those top players will be thinking, no, I've got to get through the year.
They've already got a jersey at home.
I think they get a decent pay packet though.
Yeah, what was it, 30?
I think they get 30
I
as
heard
well.
50 even for some of them.
So I think there's a concept there as well. I agree with Lynchy, but to not involve. So you either have to play multiple games and have South Australia versus Queensland or Queensland, New South Wales or the rest, but because you still got 60%, I think, still Victorian. So it's Victorian versus All-Stars. Or the other concept you could do is Victorian clubs. So depending where you're playing that year, so Victorian clubs versus the 8 interstate clubs. So you're getting the best players on the park because the Lions had 2 players out of an all-star premiership team. They only had 2 on the park, and you've got guys like Harris Andrews and these guys that aren't eligible. The Ashcrofts even played for Vic, but
Fletcher.
But I think you can't lose the essence of it being a state of origin rather than an all-star game. Like right now, the NBA all-star weekend's on, and it's just turned into a farce where they just show up and it's just about skill.
Very gimmicky.
No one defends
but
it.
But can you have a state of origin if most of the players aren't, or half the players aren't eligible?
Well, then you got to find out, can you do a comp or...
I think it needs to be like a Victoria versus the rest. I think that's the only way
the
it
rest,
works. Because the All-Stars in American basketball is now just a gimmick. We know they don't play defence, where back when Jordan and those guys played, it was game on.
Yeah.
I think if you get the right attitude and still make it game on, yes, you probably don't have the interstate support. Victoria will still get behind them, like the Vics will get behind the Vics, but you just have to band together for that one weekend. So I think people are going to turn up, and if you have the best 44 players out there on the park, like it's still going to be good, but they've got to go hard. You can't, and I think they did on the weekend.
Yeah,
I think if you turn it into what the NBA All-Stars is now, where it's gimmicky, it loses its effect. So there probably is something for it, but again, like, is February the right time for it?
I want it the week before opening round. I think that's the perfect little segue into the season. I think it becomes gimmicky if you put it grand final weekend or even at the middle of the year, because I think you're going to lose the quality of players by that point in the season.
Scrap opening round and just have the All-Stars into that.
Well, the clubs would push back the week before the season starts, I reckon.
Well, yeah, so you probably have to go 2 weeks just in case you get a wheezing concussion. But we're very monitored now with what players can do and can't do. And you think back to when you played, I've seen something on it the other day about going into, it might have been the Crows' first trial game or something. They'd played about 4 or 5 games before the end of February. Now it's literally they get a hit out this week, most of them in some sort of concept. Brisbane are playing Carlton Wednesday, I think. Then they have one practice game and then you're into it, where the Ansett Cup used to be actually a thing and there was a prize on the line. So I think the preparation we get going to the season is not very, very much. So there is a concept there to be built, but the timing of it, and you can play more games, I would have thought, because most clubs get back in January and start playing intra-clubs anyway. I think Brisbane have played 3 or 4 now. The Dogs have done the same.
What about 80? Going back a few years before you were born, 1988, there was the State of Origin Carnival in South Australia. So I played for Tassie. So every state had a team there. And I reckon there was an amateurs team as well. So you were there for a week, played 3 games. So there was first division and second division.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure they'd go back to that. But
no chance.
But with the state of origin passion that you're talking about,
Yeah.
I don't know whether they were talking about Victoria playing Western Australia again next year.
Yeah.
You can't just have that.
Sounds like it's something that the WA government just wants to buy.
Pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pump cash in.
Yeah.
Because what wouldn't stand up? Western Australia playing South Australia.
Yeah.
That's not going to stand up
No.
for a big marquee event.
Well, you look at, no disrespect, but the South Australian team would get belted against Victoria.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, like you'd be better off playing a Queensland or a New South team.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's where I reckon it's got to be the rest of Australia.
Yeah, I agree.
I think WA wants it to be their own little gather round type scenario as well.
Yeah.
That's why they're going so hard for it, which is understandable. It would be very good to
going
make
back
it a
to
weekend.
you saying how long it was, could you make the games half the length and then maybe you can play 2 in a week?
We can
type
go back
thing?
to the COVID where you were playing three games in 10 days or something and make them 17 minute flats.
Yep.
Yeah, you could do that. But it was a good start. Yeah. And probably luckily in the end, Wiedering hasn't sustained nasty injuries.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a relief for everyone, I would have thought. So, that was...
Especially Vossi.
wouldn't Vossi been sitting there and seeing Wieders go down and just feeling sick in the guts? And Paddy Cripps with his Western Australian team standing in the middle of the same thing, thinking, shit.
But like
That's
you
all
said,
we
like
need.
it could happen on the training pitch.
Oh, it does.
All the ACLs that have happened pre-season
Tom
already.
Green.
Like,
Well, Giants in trouble.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, you can't control injuries are part of the game. So anyone that's jumping up and down going, oh, it shouldn't be on because he's done his shoulder or whatever, it happens.
Yep.
It can happen anywhere.
All right, let's move on. This is our season preview show, the first half of it anyway, and we've got 9 clubs to get through, so we're going to have to make up a bit of time here.
I'm not sure we're going to get through them.
A few of these we don't have to spend too long on.
Yeah, okay.
So we're going to go from 10 clubs. We're going to start from the bottom of the ladder and work our way up from last year. So that's West Coast Eagles, reigning wooden spooners, just the 1 win last season over the Saints. And geez, the rebuild continues. Oscar Allen out the door. Bring in Brandon Starcevich and Tyler Young. That's about the nuts and bolts of their off-season. I'm going to run through the expectations. Lynchy, you're going to give us what each club has and doesn't have.
Yeah,
Rocky, you're the king of bold takes, Rocky. And then Jack's going to give us a player to watch and a little look at the futures markets if there's anything relevant. Expectation for West Coast. I'm going to throw this open to you guys. Do you think they win more than 3 games this year?
I think 3.5 is probably the line.
I'll wait for the bold prediction, but I think they can. I'm excited to see Harley Reid, how he goes. I think he could potentially show us what he's capable of doing, becoming the king of the West. So I think they may win a couple of games off the back of him carrying them. I know that it's hard to get a gauge because none of them have played even a pre-season game, so we're effectively just guessing here. You would hope that they've improved somewhat and can be more competitive in games, but I think they can win more than 3 this year.
Lynchy, I know you've prepared
Notes all over the place here.
strongly for this.
Well, the thing is, they've got young, talented list, and you look at, as you said, with Reid and Jinby, Dersma, Duff, Titler, and Lindsay. So there's good talent there. So they've got that. The thing is, and their big question mark is that medical room that's been chock-a-block for a couple of years now. So they are so reliant on making sure that Yo plays.
Yep.
Tim Kelly, who I think we all thought was finishing up at the end of the year, he's got to play. Well, his pre-season's been pretty good from all reports. But he's got to play and play well, but play every week. And the one I think we've all got our fingers crossed with is Brandon Starcevich.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's a massive inclusion fit.
Yeah.
But
he's one head knock away.
Well, his last game he spent on the bench in the grand final because of concussion. Well, actually, they said it was precaution, it wasn't concussion. But he's had 3 in the last 12 months. So I think that's where the big question mark is, and where they've got to be so lucky or so well managed is to make sure that medical room is empty, especially with the likes of Starcevich, Yo, Kelly. They've got to be out there.
Wiedemann as well. He didn't play much last year, did he? Full forward.
Waterman?
Waterman's right.
Yeah. No, that's right. You need him out there. So they're very best experienced. Cripps is another one. Jack Graham.
Yeah.
They've got to be out there playing. Liam Baker. So, I can't see them getting off the bottom.
So over 3 wins, no? Or are you going under?
Oh, maybe over, but last.
Is that a win for them though? Like if they do manage to win 2 more games than last year?
Well, you do want to see improvement. So my bold prediction, I'm going to say they win 5. So they might upset a few along the way. Okay. I think that they need to show something, and I think the young talent that Lynchy has spoken about potentially can carry him. You need your older guys to play really well as well, but Harley Reid, 3rd year now, I think he would have learnt more about himself in the last couple of years, because he's always been that marquee player of all the junior clubs he's come through. Now he's going to take that next step at AFL level. So they're going to surprise a few, I think.
Jack, you got a couple of names down here for players to watch and a couple of futures markets you're looking at too?
Rocky's already touched on it. Harley Reid's the one for me. He really needs to take a step up this season. He kind of came in a bit undercooked last year. He was a bit unfit and ill-disciplined. Free kicks against per game, he averaged 1 more than the next worst offender. So I think...
I dare say that continues.
It's just about him getting his head right. You said Oscar Allen's left. There needs to be some more leaders step up in that club, and he has the opportunity to do that. He averaged just under 20 posies a game, so he needs to get up above 20 and continue to contribute on the scoreboard. So I think here's the big one. You got Willem Dersma, who's an exciting first-round draft pick. He could play anywhere on the field, but first year played, no expectations on that. So futures, we said it just before, 3.5 is their line, and there's a bit of juice on the overs here, so there's $2 on over 3.5. So if you like Rocky and you like that one, otherwise them to go winless is 101 to 1. And to have the least amount of wins, finish bottom is $2.25. So they're the favourites for the spoon again.
Yeah, a bit of value there in those markets. That's not bad. All right, we'll move on to Richmond. 17th last year, pretty kind of quiet off season at Tigerland. I don't know if you can say they exceeded expectations last year, winning more games than some might have thought. Big contract year for a couple of players like Dion Prestia, Nank, who's getting older. For expectations, I think you can put him down for a top 10 finish. I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I rate Uze as a coach, but I just think there's going to be a little bit of a soft...
Top 10?
Yeah, I'm not saying they're going to finish there, but I think they would have that in mind at the club, that they could finish that high. Sophomore slump, though, for some of these players like Lawler, I don't know. That's what I'm worried about.
Well, I think on the back of their youngsters, and they had opportunity to go to the draft again this year, I think some of those guys like Lawler, who were underprepared for last year's, had injuries, they look all right. Houghton, Sam Cumming, Sam Grill, so new first-round draft picks, they look all right. Trainer, Fall. So they've got some good young players. I think, again, if you're looking at... They've got much more experienced depth than, say, West Coast as an example, with Bolter, Vlosten, Lynch, Nankervis, Hopper, Taranto. So they've got some experience there. I think they could jump. I don't think they'll make top 10, but I reckon they could jump up the ladder from 17th to a 12th or 11th or like that. I reckon they'll do all right.
Okay.
I'll go the other way. I think they exceeded expectations. I think they may struggle this year. Just on the back of all the young kids, and we often see they come in, you can get some excitement in that first year, and then the second year dip.
Bit of a sugar hit, yeah.
Second year blue. So I think they may win the spoon, which, I mean, it's probably them or West Coast. And a couple of injuries. I mean, every club, particularly down the bottom, if you get a couple of injuries, you may fall away. So for Richmond, I think they're still in that rebound phase. I think third year, though, they'll bounce.
Yep.
So next year, under Uze, those young kids, I think they'll bounce. So this year, I think they may have a little dip before they go back up.
Do you want to add anything here to Lawler, Jack? I know you've got him.
Yeah, he's my player to watch. Again, just coming in ready with a full preseason under his belt. He only played 11 games last year, and there was exciting highlights in that package. So I think he can add some goals, some punch through the midfield if he gets more minutes there. Their line is at 4.5 with a bit of juice on the unders. So $2 on the unders there. Also for them to come finish spoon is $3. So if Rocky likes that one.
Load up.
Yeah, load up.
All right, let's go to North Melbourne, 16th last year. This club's interesting to me. I'm big on their list. And what are we in, year 3 now of Clarko in charge? They've added Charlie Spargo over the off-season. Wardlaw and the Cheese both entering their age 22 season, so they're getting close to that prime. Tristan Sherry, stiff not to be an All-Australian last year. Nick Larkey, we probably need a bit more consistency from him up forward. For expectation, I could entertain them playing finals, but I'll put top 12 down. I think they could be a popular smoky pick for some people out there that, like I just said, look at the list and think there's a lot of talent here coming through. So I'm curious to see what you guys reckon.
I'd be probably leaning the other way.
Okay, well,
I think for them to jump up, they need good players like Combin, Simpkin. Larkey's a very, very good player. Zurhaar in particular. I reckon Zurhaar and Combin and Simpkin have got to jump up to that All-Australian squad level. So if Combin can hold down centre-half back or something like that and really dominate back there, that takes pressure off Parker, Darling, McDonald. I mean, at their stage of their career, they've all been very good players and a couple of superstars there too. They shouldn't have to carry the can as much as they do. They should be able to just contribute on the fringes rather than having to carry the team. So they've got some bloody good players. Cherry, Larkey, Sheasel's obviously a star, but I think it's those three. Simpkin, Combin and Zurhaar will be the precursor to success. They've got to jump up.
Yeah, they have to jump. So I'll go bold prediction. Clarko is moved on.
Wow.
At the end of the year. Well,
click that up.
At the end of the year or mid-year?
Well, yeah, I think he'll survive the year. I couldn't imagine him walking away unless it got to the point where it was untenable. But I think you've got Adam Simpson waiting in the wings, moved back to Melbourne, North, the story to go back, and they need a spike, and I would love to see them be top 10 and get up there again. It's a huge tradition, footy club. They've been starved as success for a number of years, haven't played finals. And Clarko's first year is a wipeout, started to build somewhat, and then just not getting enough wins.
Yeah, but with Clarko, probably the decks were cleared a bit with the Hawthorn thing last year put behind him.
Yeah.
Obviously a great coach, and so hopefully he gets some clear air this year.
Third or fourth? It's third year?
I have to be fourth, wouldn't it?
Might be fourth. I might have got that wrong.
Fourth of 5, yeah. So I think he, because I think the first year's wipeout, last couple of years you've built. So I think, I think he might be in strife. If they're bottom 4 again, I don't think he survives.
That's a huge take. I like it. Really like it. Any players to watch, Jack?
Touched on him already. Cheesel, he was really effective off halfback last year. Did get some minutes in the middle towards the end of the year. Looked good, but I think he needs to improve in terms of his goal contributions, goal assists and goals. So if he wants to raise as a leader and if they want to climb the table and finish inside the top 10, he really needs to contribute more on that end.
Who has to contribute more?
Cheesel to goals.
Yeah.
Not touches. He can touch the ball, but goals. Speaking of touches in the futures, there's a few exotics. You touched on it before, 50-plus disposals in a match. Cheesel last season, it's now $3 from $9 last year.
Market mover.
No juice.
If you think he can go one better, 55-plus disposals in a match this season, $10. Do you like that, Rocky?
I do, but I would prefer it to be 20 and 50 at 9 or 10.
The bookies reckon there's going to be a little bit of a jump here by North Melbourne. Their line is 7.5 games. Bit of juice on the overs, so the punters think they're going to go under there. To make the top 10, they're $6.
Okay.
So if Clarko wants to survive, they like that 10th place, $6.
Essendon. This could be a long chat.
Premiers.
Who's leading this chat, Jack?
Do you want it?
No.
We'll start with your hope. Sam Durham.
Sam Durham is the golden hope. Like with Nick Martin's out for the season, the ACL, he was probably our best player last season. with Merritt kind of in and out of the club at the moment, asking for a contract extension now, which is absurd. I think he just wants to nail down that money.
Is he the most bizarre of all time?
He's a weird unit, but he's good at football.
Sacked his manager after, then bizarre.
The thing about pre-season is time of hope. It is a time of hope.
They're training the house down.
We're training the house down. It's a year of no injuries for us, apart from Martin. So if our backline stays fit, I think we got a better list than North.
The ifs are already out.
The ifs, buffs, and maybes. Sam Durham, if he kicks on, he's a wonderful player. He's going to be part of the leadership. I'm really excited about Caddy and Kako.
Bullshit,
those
you're
two.
excited. No, you're not.
Oh, mate, if Caddy...
You're excited for that.
If they get it in the Ford 50, you look out. There'll be highlight reels all season. So I'm excited by a few players, but I think top 10 is where I'm looking.
If your auntie had nuts, she'd be your uncle.
Yeah, well, love that.
You didn't even mention 2 metre Peter.
2 metre Peter.
Leading goal kicker last year.
Well, he makes a difference to Caddy.
Yeah. He needs to stay fit, and so Caddy doesn't draw the best defender.
So that's
week.
what we saw at, say, GWS with Jesse Hogan playing well.
Yeah.
Then you've got someone like Cadman can develop as a second or third tall. Makes an enormous difference.
Yeah.
So I think Caddy will be doing everything he possibly can to get Big Pete up and flying.
Yeah, exactly. So they're over under 7.5, the same as North. So that's pretty grim.
You got a bold take for us here, Rocky?
Yeah, same again. I'm putting a bullet through the coach. I think he's in
no
strife.
coaches left.
I think you'll see 3 this year. And I think he's in all sorts. If they go backwards again, like how long do you need? They got rid of Rutten, who had him right there, about to take that step. Brought in Brad Scott, and things haven't worked out for whatever reason, whether it be training, whether it be injuries.
Injuries have been catastrophic.
Yeah, so you look at the high performance, so they've gone and made changes there. Well, what's the excuse this year if it goes pear-shaped? Like, you can't then use that. So I think he's in a bit of strife. If they go backwards, they finish bottom 4, then I think you'd see a change come in. You've seen the board change, you've seen management change, you've seen recruiting change, you've seen high performance change. If it doesn't work out, you have to try something else. And
I'd argue that's an excuse though to keep him, because the rhetoric coming out of the club seems like they don't think they're playing finals this year, which is a first for Essendon. Normally every season it's like, oh, we're a chance.
Well, the thing is they haven't for 23 years.
Well, with the wild card now,
really
top
matter.
10. If you want Essendon to break the spell of no finals win, it's $15 to win a final this year.
I reckon they improve this year.
Probably unders. But
They can't have the same injury rates as they've had. I reckon they will improve. I reckon Zach Merritt will have another great year.
Yeah.
Fair chance he won't win the best and fairest.
No.
Because you've got coaches giving votes there, so I don't know whether they'll give him all the votes that he probably deserves. But he'll have a great year. And, got some good young talent coming through. So, no, they'll get better.
Fourth year, I think, as a coach, I think if you haven't spiked, you're in a bit of strife. Like Matty Nix survived the 5th, and we've seen it. They got the big spike, but you could argue that there was COVID and stuff there. But I think he's in a bit of strife.
The 4th year flick for Clarko and Scott, that would be something else.
Bang, bang.
Let's jump into the Ds. Pretty interesting off-season with Petrarca and Oliver getting shipped out. They brought in some new faces, Smyercheck. CJ comes over from the Hawks. Jack Steele's in. A lot of distractions off the field last year that I guess they're past that, aren't they? Stephen May's still one in a way, but expectations, I think within the club they'd be looking at top 8. I don't have them there though. I think top 10 is probably the range where I see them finishing.
Top 10? Geez, you got a few in the top 10.
I haven't thought this out real well, have I?
We haven't got to the top 8 yet. There's a fair few sliders down there.
I think it is a clean out or a change they had to have. I think Stephen King will put in a fresh new game plan with some new faces, getting the class citizens like Jack Steele in there, Myercheck will be good for the culture of the club. But it's just that, they just need the change. Oliver and Petrarca look like they needed one, so they'll probably go on and play great seasons at their new clubs. But
greatest demon of all time, some have said.
Yeah, well,
Oliver?
Gee, he was on the way, wasn't he? He was on the way. His bio read very well, but he might be the greatest giant of all time by the time he's finished. But no, I can see them going backwards, a little slide for the D's, I would have thought, but no great concerns.
Yeah, I think they'll the same. I think they'll be a bit stagnant, slightly backwards. New coach come in, new game plan takes time to implement. Rare that you see them spike. We've seen Vossi go into Carlton, they spiked, but played fine. I don't think it'll happen with the D's. I think they're in for a bit of a stretch of just rebuilding. I know that teams don't want to use that term, but I think they'll be on the slide, so sort of bottom 6. I don't think it's that bold of a prediction.
No, when you look at, there's still question marks around their forward line. The midfield's going to change, and rightly so. Key backs, question on May.
I think we see him again.
So
Max is another 12 months older.
In those regions of the ground, in all regions of the ground, there's big question marks.
Yeah.
You got a guy down here as a player to watch that was pretty electric on Saturday night, Jack?
Yeah, I've got Cozzy Pickett. Like you said, Truck and Oliver leaving. The midfield's his, along with Langford. It's time to make the team his own. He was so exciting last year. He got that big contract, averaged 2 goals a game. He took a massive leap from the year before, and I'm expecting him to take another leap. It's all about consistency for him now. So if he can string 4 quarters together, 23 games, we're flying. The D's line is 8.5 games. There's a bit of action on the unders there at $1.80. If you think they'll make the top 10, Ryan, you can get $3.75 on that.
Having a lot of bets on the top 10 by the sounds. Port Adelaide finished 13th last year. Josh Carr's first season as coach. The Ken Hinkley drama is behind them. Travis Boak, Willie Brioli, shock retirement. And then I was looking at some of the players up for contract at the end of the year. Their contract expires, Aliir, Zach Butters, Ollie Wines, some big names. You're our Port man, Rocky. How do you see those contracts playing out? Do you have any mail for us?
No, I don't. I'd imagine Aliir will stay. I'd imagine Ollie will stay. I think Zach will leave. Only because what he's going to get offered. I think it's going to be astronomical to go back to Victoria. And he's got that pool of family there. I think they'll struggle. I think everyone is speaking like fresh, and that's what happens when you coach has been there for as long as Ken was. You get that fresh kick and uptick. I think they'll have that a little bit, but I think like Zach, in my opinion, is top 5 players in the competition, and I think he'll get his payment for that. So
be the highest paid by the end of the year?
I think so, yeah.
So or second.
He'll either accept that, because Port have money, right? I don't think it's, this is going to sound stupid, a huge loss if he leaves, because I think they get Zach Bailey if he leaves, in my opinion, from Brisbane, because they're going to, if he doesn't stay, gets this huge offer to go back to Victoria, they're still going to have money. It frees up with not having Zach there, Zach Butters, and then you've got Zach Bailey, who's coming out as well on the market. I think Brisbane have got something in front of him. He's going to have to take less to stay at Brisbane because you've got so many other players that you've got to pay. I think he'll get a godfather from a South Australian club, being an SA boy, Northern Territory SA boy. I think there may be a bit of movement there, but I think they'll plateau somewhat, like 12th, 11th, 12th. I think they'll be competitive in games. That they play pretty well at home. Good balance. They've got some out-and-out stars, as I said. Butters there, Horn Francis, Rosie. These guys, they've got a decent balance. Georgiadis in the front half, he kicked over 50 in a pretty ordinary team last year. So there's enough upside, but I think it's same as Melbourne. Take a bit of time to implement a new game plan, and away you go.
Yeah, their best will be very good.
Yeah.
But I see them just sitting at the same sort of level. They'll lose some games. You think, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
But they'll do the same with some wins. But I think Butters, he'll be gone. Unfortunately for Port supporters.
Yes, that would be a big blow. St Kilda, no one's had a bigger off-season than the Saints, basically.
You've got them in the top 10 too, haven't you?
Yeah, correct.
You didn't want futures on...
sorry, let's jump into that. Yep, futures on Port.
Port, they're 9.5 games to the line. It's fairly even money either side. If you don't rate, $2.30 to finish top 10 in your places. if you think they're going to struggle to start the season with the changeover and the turmoil, you can get them to go winless in the first 6 games, $51.
It's a new market from us.
Yeah.
I like that. Jumping on that.
Venturous. I'd have to have a look. I haven't looked at their first 6.
The Dons are $5 to go winless after 6, and they lost their last 13 games last season. So.
Well, we'll look at their fixture and come back to that. We'll jump into the Saints. Finished 12th last year. Chips in at the trade period. TDK in, Sam Flanders, Jack Silvani. I mean, that's what you'd expect after they paid Naz last year. You got to build around him. I think the health around their forward line is obviously going to be pivotal to their season. I have him in my 8. You'll be happy to know, Lynchy.
So not 10?
No, 8.
8.
Yeah.
Well, I think they'll improve.
Yeah.
Another one, just King can't take a trick. He just seems to have issues on a regular basis. So, they need him. But, I think they'll improve. They should improve considerably. I would have thought they'd be shattered if they didn't play finals this year.
The fixture quickly. If Port Adelaide start 0-6 to turn it over, there's no way they're doing that. They've North Melbourne round 1, so I think Essendon round 2, West Coast round 3.
They've got the easiest run in the draw.
Richmond round 4. So
have we got them top of the table after round 6? Here we go.
Market for that.
So I think, I wouldn't be jumping on that one.
Yeah.
St Kilda, I think, I mean, they've gone chips in, haven't they? So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with their rucks.
Leader after round 6, $17, Port Adelaide.
Well, there's a good chance because if they can upset St Kilda in round 5 on their home deck, which if things don't click at St Kilda, you never know. Seen at Brisbane when we brought in all the stars in 2010. It started okay the first 4 games and then it went belly up after that. So they may not gel. How do you fit them all in? The bold prediction is they finish top 4 with the talent they've brought in. Are they capable?
Top 4.
Are they capable of doing that? I think you're probably more realistic top 6. So. They're probably one that I think goes in. I think there'll be 3 changes to the top 8 from last year. I think 3 go in, 3 come out.
Any players to watch, Jack?
I think it's pretty obvious here. The man with the big contract, Naz, arguably the best player in the comp in the last 8 to 10 weeks. He was on fire. He was winning games off his own boot, even though he wasn't getting the votes for those games.
Stiff.
So Naz is up there for me. Saints to finish in the top 4, you're looking at $7 there, Rocky. Their line is 12.5 games this year, which I think they'll go over quite comfortably.
Calling it.
Yeah.
Player to watch, I reckon. Been around for a couple of years now, and we've seen bits and pieces. I reckon Mitch Owen.
Yeah.
Mitch Owen. Nice.
I think get him into the midfield, a bit more big, more 6'3" midfielder. He could be a real game breaker.
All right, we will move on to the Sydney Swans.
Or Mitch Owens. Mitch Owen is the cricketer, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, the Andy opener for the Hurricanes, is it?
Yep.
Yeah. He would be all right in the middle.
Well, he's a big rooster too.
Yeah.
See his brother's on the VFL list for the Tassie Devils.
There you go. Maybe he is a shout there. Maybe that is a bold prediction.
They're in, aren't they? Are they in the VFL or something?
Start first game in about 5 weeks' time against Coburg at North Hobart Oval. They're predicting a sellout of 12,000 or 11,500.
Go the Devils. You'll be down there cutting the ribbon.
No, I think I'm got a Lions game somewhere. So no, be watching it on the TV.
It's exciting times.
It is exciting.
Sydney Swans 10th last year. Another club riddled with injuries. Oh, sorry, I've skipped Carlton. Let's do Carlton.
Oh, well, that's fair enough.
I'm getting ahead of myself, Was that intentional? I don't know. Let's jump into the Blues. Finished 11th last year. Lost Charlie Curnow. That's the big storyline from the off-season. Added some speed. Ben Ainsworth, Ollie Florent, Will Hayward, Sam Walsh's contract year as well. Those are the noteworthy things. What do they have and not have here, Lynchy?
Well, they've got Sam Walsh, but he's got to be on the field. He's got to be fit. So they're another team that if they're going to improve, they've got to have their best out there. So Sam Walsh is a critical piece to that. As we said, Wiedering, good to see him get through the State of Origin game in one piece. So that's a relief. I can't see them jumping too far. I think they'll be pretty much similar. They'll beat some good sides at their best. Harry Mackay, when you're looking to build a list, you want a big, powerful forward. He's there. Sort of him and Curnow were sort of almost running into each other at times. So he's got a big opportunity to dominate and own that forward line. So he'll be a critical piece. But Sam Walsh, at his best and fittest, he'll be a big difference maker for that club.
Yeah, and the kid as well. I think Jager Smith coming back in. I think unfortunately Vossi's the third coach I'm putting a line through. Well, if they don't play finals, you know what Carlton supporters are like, they're going to jump up and down. So I think it's finals or bust, and I can't see how they fit in.
You got them in the top 10, have you, Ryan?
No, I don't
$7 for the top 10.
7 for top 10?
Yep. Oh, sorry, no, that's top 9th or 10th. That's a new little market there if they slide into that.
I just don't see, I think, as I said, St Kilda will be better, and then the next two teams we're going to talk about, Swans and Dogs, I think, go in. So I don't know how Carlton go in. And honestly, it's tough, but if they don't play finals, I think Vossi's in strife. Like, they had the up spike. They started really well that first year. They got to a prelim against Brisbane.
Yep.
And
were
on top
smoking Cubans at quarter time. They were flying.
And then they just haven't got back there. So the pressure's going to be on, and we know how restless Blues fans have been and get. So it'd be a miracle for me if they play finals.
Yeah, I don't think they'll play finals. I'd like to think they wouldn't make a move. They've made some footy department changes to put infrastructure, different personnel around Vossi. So sure, you got to see that through. But yes, it will be a talking point, because what is it? 3 coaches in basically in 7 years or something like that. 8 years,
and they were like, there was talk last year about moving Vossi on. So like, it was sort of at 50-50 at one point, and I just think that there's going to be too much outside noise, and they normally fold under that.
Well, that's where hopefully now with, is it Chris Davies?
Chris Davies,
footy manager. So
good footy manager.
Bit of a restructure. Graham Wright's had the feet under the desk for 12 months there, sort of half a year as CEO. So yeah, unless they dramatically go backwards, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. Rocky's shaking up the spray paint to get out the front of Prince's Park.
A few coaches that won't be happy. Yeah. Speaking of, we actually got some feedback last year from one of the senior coaches. Wasn't too happy with.
Oh yes, we did too.
A few of my thoughts on this podcast.
But really?
Should we dive into that?
We can later.
That was late in the year, I think, wasn't it?
That was grand final night. One of Lynch's ex-teammates. So there's a few of them that coach.
I did hear a whisper about that actually.
Work out who it is. I think everyone would know.
It's good to know people are listening though.
That's right.
That's what it's all about. I think.
Content.
The little fella gave you a spray, did he?
Yeah. Hit me between the eyes, and I just said, well, that's what my opinion is. Whether I'm right or wrong, that's for people to judge. And he wasn't all favourable with the commentary coming my way.
We might circle back to that. We'll get to the players to watch in the future here for the Blues.
Player to watch, mentioned before, Jager Smith. He had the year off yesterday through injury. He's prime ready to go. The fans are really excited about this guy. His elite ball usage through the middle. If they have any chance of making the top 10, this guy needs to fire. So he's my player to watch. For Rising Star this year, which is eligible, he's $2.50 favourite in that market. Otherwise, the futures, we're looking at a 8.5 game line. A bit of action on the overs for that. If you like them for the top 10, I think it's $3.50, Ryan, but you're more of a...
No, I'm a below the 10.
You're a bottom 4. You can get them for $2.75.
Okay. Bit of juice still there for that. Yep. Sydney, as I touched on already, 10th last year, lots of injuries. Charlie Curnow comes in. Goulden's one of the Brownlow favourites. Maybe not a favourite, but he's in the mix. I looked at their fixture to start the year. They got the Blues, then they got Brisbane and Hawthorn, so it's a sort of tricky start to the season for them. And I don't know if you'd call it a honeymoon period for Dean Cox last year, but there's expectations now, I think. I have him in my 8, but maybe even top 4. I think you could argue that.
was a pretty poor honeymoon if it was his honeymoon last year, because all his talent weren't there with him, and he was trying to implement a new game plan with probably a number of second-string players. So, I think that game plan should be sort of set in stone now, and it makes a hell of a difference if you've got the likes of Goulden. But, Charlie Curnow up front, they'll be potent when they move that ball on the SCG, flying through that middle. They'll have a considerable jump.
Yeah, we think when he got the keys to the job, it was the pre-season that started. So you're working on the fly. I know you don't have to change too much because they'd been to a grand final the year before, and then you lose your key players. And I think their best footy in the back half of the year. I know you blokes joke about it, but I thought they were potential to go deep if everything goes right. So I think they'll bounce. I think they play finals this year. So there's no big bold prediction, maybe top 4. You could potentially argue that as being a bold prediction. I think Curnow helps them. I think Florent and those guys hurt them out. They're good depth players, but I think they've got enough balance. If they stay fit, they're going to be hard to stop.
A couple of handy recruits in the last couple of years with Curnow and Grundy. They're a couple of very handy recruits.
We've seen Grundy back to his absolute best, didn't we? So, I mean, if he's given that midfield, Heaney, Goulden, these guys, I think you've still got Blakey and those guys, they're good ball use and a quick express. I think Charlie Curnow won't know himself playing at the SCG, getting one-on-ones deep inside 50.
Jack, there's a bit of juice about the Swans on, I guess, the second line of betting for the premiership.
Yeah, we got $10 for the Swans there. So
bit of juice.
If you want to jump on now, Rocket, maybe after those opening fixtures, there might be a better value for them. Their line at the moment, let me look, it's down here, 14.5, fairly even split there. The player to watch is Charlie Curnow. He had a down year last year, averaged 1.8 goals a game. Previous 3 years was all around 3 goals a game. He's an elite goal kicker. He's going to have way better forward 50 entries. I'm backing him to clean up again. Let me just get this Coleman medal market up.
I think he's a good chance for Coleman, isn't he, in that team?
Have to be in the top 10 chances.
Yeah, he's equal favourite with Sam Darcy on $5 there. So that's one that I'm going to be looking at for sure.
All right, well, we will wrap up with the Bulldogs. I don't feel any differently about the Dogs than I did 12 months ago, to be completely honest. I like their forward line. You just mentioned Darcy. He's going to be fun to watch if he stays fit. Same goes for Waitman. I'd be curious to see what you think about Bevo here, Rocky. You've put the red line through a few coaches already. Like, if they don't play finals, this kind of has to be it, doesn't it?
If they don't play finals, he's in strife. What did he sign, a 2-year extension last year?
Yep.
I think they do. I think they finish top 6 maybe. So I have St Kilda, Swans and Dogs going into the top 8. So we'll get to who goes out next week. But their talent's too good. Bontempelli and these guys through the midfield. Ed Richards, Sam Darcy, how good can he be? We're not sure. He had a quiet night the other night, but from all pre-season games, kicked 7, 5, 4s. Like he's going to be hard to stop. Norton gets going as well. I think their potency from the front half, again, their defence, if they get opened up, you would hope that all summer that's the one thing they focused on, because it's no good all of them having 30 and kicking 2 or 3, but getting skittled the other way, getting opened up. So I think defensively they'll be a lot sharper this year, and I think they'll be hard to beat.
Yeah, agree. Midfield depth is just getting stronger with Ed Richards elevating last year. I reckon we saw bits and pieces in some games. I reckon he had a great game against the Sydney Swans, Joel Frazier.
Yeah,
he played very well. I think he might even jump up to add depth to that midfield rotation. They need to find who's key back, whether it's someone like even Jordan Croft can go back and play key post down there just to stiffen them up. But their midfield, defensive structure in the midfield has got to be a bit better, because they go very well forward, but they've got to defend better.
Yeah, you'd imagine they'll be in some high-scoring kind of shootout games this year with the attacking weapons they have. Where are they at for the premiership, Jack?
Premiership, I think they're around $15, but you can grab them for a top 6 finish at $3. Their line's at 13.5, so a bit of action on the unders though early. Player I'm watching is, of course, Sam Darcy. he had a few injuries last season, but was averaging near 3 goals a game. No one can mark him one-on-one. He's an absolute unicorn. He's 6'9", athletic, can kick both feet. I think if he plays every game, I think he's the Coleman Medal winner at $5. It's just a fitness thing for him. If you want to get very spicy and you think he's going to have a wild year, you can take him to hit 100-plus goals at $67. So that's a bold one. But, Sam Darcy's the one to watch.
Did you see him walk off the ground next to Max Gawn the other day? He's taller than Max.
It's incredible.
He's a unit.
He's everything you want. So hopefully he stays fit and we see him at his absolute best.
All right, we got through that fairly quickly. So next week we'll come back and we'll preview the remaining 8 teams. We want to dive into this Fly story before we get out of here.
Oh, we just had some feedback about when I said Pendlebury, I think he hurts their ball movement. I said,
that's right.
I'd like to see them without. When Dacos and them get on the roll, and he disagreed, which is fair enough. That's everyone's right. I said to him, I don't know why he was looking anyway at what I've got to say, but I suppose I was never quick as well. And he goes, if anyone should understand, it should be you, which is fine.
That's good.
Mate, I've seen a few of your Stravas. You're looking quite quick.
Well, again, I haven't ran for a while. But, mate, everyone's entitled to their opinion. And it's the way I seen it in those games. And he wasn't happy with it. And it's his right to have not a crack, just an opinion on it. I get on really well with Fly. He's a ripper.
Was this in the sheds or like at a media?
September Club out the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
a couple of pots in.
Yeah.
You were going to set the over-unders for Pedal's games started this season?
Good question.
Games started. He'll be sub a lot, won't he?
Yeah.
I think. He
no
had
sub.
an impact as well when he did that. So there's potential that's an ideal role for him to come on in the second half when everyone's slowed down somewhat and he can use his smarts to cut games open. But
have we got a sub this year?
Yeah, I think it's 5 on the bench.
Well, we go.
I don't think he'll play sub.
I don't think he'll play sub. But we can manage a lot better.
That's what
can't
they tell him.
So
mate. Yes, put the bib on.
He'll break the record, won't he?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he still contributes, and what a class act. They'll get him to the record, no problems at all.
All right. Anything else, fellas, before we head off?
We've got cut through. We've got opinions, strong opinions on here, unpopular opinions.
I know what I'm clipping up this week. I really do. Thank you, listeners. We'll be back next week to preview the rest of the league.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website